Welcome back to a bonus episode of Hidden Roots, where I'm going behind the scenes to show you guys more about how I put this series together. If, like me, you're new to using cameras, new to making videos, and new to doing research into your family history and want to know more, then stick around. We'll take a deeper dive into what went well, what went not quite so well, and what I learned along the way. This episode is sponsored by Find My Past. With exclusive records and features, Find My Past is the perfect place to grow your family tree. So this is the first time I've tried to do a project like this before. I've never even owned a camera before. I've never tried to do any kind of film project or documentary style thing. So it's all been super new for me, but I've been learning as I go and getting better as time's gone by. There were lots of things I had to think about, like what kind of equipment to use, how to do the research and how to look for people and how to find things out when you've only got very limited information to go off. And then one thing that was a big thing was, how am I going to actually speak to people and meet people in the middle of a global pandemic? The equipment situation was pretty easy. I went and I got a Canon M50 camera, which is the sort of basic go-to camera for YouTubers. I got a Zoom H4 audio recorder, which is great for recording sound. And then I just used my phone and my laptop. And between those things, that was enough to get started. In terms of research, it can be pretty difficult to know where to start if you've only got really limited information to go off. But Google is obviously your best friend, and places like the National Archive Centre can be really useful, although I didn't use that one in the end. The pandemic situation was challenging. There were lots of people that I would like to have met up with in real life to have had the chat, but it just wasn't possible, especially as some of these people were older and we didn't want to risk any chance of getting anyone sick. So more of the conversations that I've had have been over Zoom than I would have liked potentially. But that's also been kind of helpful because it means if you find someone on a Tuesday, then you can set up a Zoom chat and speak to them on Wednesday. Whereas if it was, meeting up with someone, it might take a bit longer. So it hasn't been all bad in that sense. I've had some really amazing people helping me along the way, guiding me because I don't know what I'm doing, help with editing, help with thinking about how to structure interviews. For an introduction to a project, it doesn't need to be 10 minutes long, I don't think.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like once you start doing a few takes, you'll know what you want to take out or add in or anything like that. But maybe once you do it and you're happy with your final take, maybe do a really condensed version, under 60 seconds.
Yeah. That's a good shout. Yeah. I'm really into Who Do You Think You Are, that TV program where people find their long lost relatives and find out what their ancestors did. So I went on to imdb.com and looked at all the researchers that had been involved with Who Do You Think You Are in the past, and then put all those names into LinkedIn and found a bunch of people from that and just basically emailed all of them and said, hey, I'm doing this project, I don't know what I'm doing, could you please help? And waited to see if anyone would reply. I did get a few replies, and some of those people were really helpful in pointing me in the right direction to finding people, and without them I might not have gotten as far as I did. When it came to the sections I filmed talking to the camera, I didn't have a dedicated studio, so did all the filming in my bedroom in Barcelona. I was living in a flat share with 7 other people at the time, and with a balcony that backed onto the street, so noise was definitely an issue. I also found talking to the camera tricky to start with. Having a conversation with nobody there is a bit awkward, but by the end I was getting into it, although it definitely wasn't all perfect. He knows so much more because he knows so much more, incredibly focused on something. And talking to camera and the Zoom calls were much easier to film, so I set that all up myself. But I was determined that when I met my dad's friends for the first time, I wouldn't be the one filming, so that I could be present and engage with the people I was speaking to. As I didn't really have any budget for this, I relied on a couple of friends who were videographers to film with me. So big shout out to Nana and Leo for their filming help during the series.
But I should be looking at the camera, I should be looking at you.
You should
right?
be looking at me.
Yeah, that makes it.
Hiya.
Hey! Makes it more natural. Yeah.
It's alright. In fact, I mean, this won't use any of it because you're sitting right by a window, so you look like you're on fire.
But maybe if I was in one?
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
The first time I was filmed on camera for the project was when I cooked peanut stew for some of my friends, which was a meal my dad used to cook for me and my mom years ago.
I guess I've probably inherited his cooking skills, so I'm no Gordon Ramsay, it's fair to say, but I gave it my best shot. Things went pretty well. Food was a little late. I think we were supposed to eat at 7, and by the time I was finished, it was closer to 10:30. So timing wasn't a strong point, but the food itself was pretty good. Another little mistake was that one of my friends that came over, Nana, is a vegetarian, and I cooked a chicken stew. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you're vegetarian. I should have asked, really. It probably would have been a good
I should have
thing
said,
to do.
I kind of, because I'm so used, whenever I eat with Robin Bush is usually in charge, so I'm always like, she knows.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's my fault.
So you can do peanut stew, obviously, without chicken.
Yeah.
I just in my head, it's like, it's chicken.
Yeah. And there are definitely can't take the West African out of the way. That's good.
Yeah. But I had enough sauce left over to do a vegetarian dish and save the day, and everything was good. So everyone got to eat, no one went home hungry. And the main thing that I took away from the first bit of filming was, once the moment's gone, that's it. There were a couple of times when cool things happened, and when I found out that Nana's dad was from the same place as my dad, we weren't filming. And it's obvious to say in retrospect, but at the time I just didn't think it through. And now what I learned from that was that you just need to film everything. And if there's anything that you don't need to use, you can chuck it away, you don't have to use it. But if you don't film it in the moment, it's gone. So make sure you get everything. And I really enjoyed the detective element of all of this, because you find yourself like going down a rabbit hole, and as soon as you get a piece of information or a lead that leads you to something else, you can have spent 3 or 4 hours just Googling and Facebook messaging people and following the crumbs, trying to get to where you're trying to get to. Overall, that process has been really fun. Sometimes it can be a bit disappointing when you don't find the people that you're wanting to find, but generally you at least get somewhere, and I'm pretty sure that a career as a private detective is now a possibility, so we'll have to see what happens next.